have our managing editor who joins us live on this broadcast from the newsroom. Kartikeya, help us understand this symbolism, this diplomatic symbolism between India and Russia, and also what's on agenda this time around.
I think there are a lot of things on agenda. For example, S-400 is on the agenda. Panzer missile is on agenda. Then on agenda is the nuclear submarine, which is going to be leased out. Bloomberg has broken that we have almost finalized the payment aspect of it, which is somewhere around the $2 billion. So that is also finalized. The agenda are the new radars. On agenda is the complete finalization of the ability of the India and Russia to use each other's military bases. That is interoperability during the war. And agenda is to to work on the contracts. We are the major military buyers from the Russian companies. The issue which the Indian companies or the Indian buyers have from the Russian defense firms primarily is that one, maintenance, second, schedule of maintenance, and third, timelines. That has been the biggest problem. And it is for this reason that India in post-1980s diversified and started to purchase a lot of defense equipment from Israel, France, and now United States of America. India is also a very important treaty with the United States of America in context of high-tech defense equipments. Now, the issue is, what are we doing here with the Russians? The difference between America and Russia is that the Russian partnership is older. Americans have always flirted with both China and Pakistan. Though Russia has become close to China now, but it's primarily because of one, Americans continue to see Russians as a threat. Despite collapse of the Cold War, all Russia wanted was to be part of the Western Hemisphere. But the Americans pushed them away, and NATO, that was only concentrated to 17 countries, expanded to 30 after the collapse of the Berlin Wall. So the Russians felt that Americans have gone back on their word, and Putin articulated it a number of times. That is one of the reasons why that Russians are in a war with Ukraine. Another important aspect is what we say all-weather partnership of the Russians with the Indians. Russians have vetoed number of anti-Indian proposals in the United Nations. No other country has done that. Americans have taken the side of the Pakistanis. Chinese have taken the side of the Pakistanis. In fact, Pakistan had played a lot of footsie with both China and America, which it continues to do so. Trump says that Munir is his favorite field marshal. But Russians have been able to politically support us. During the Bangladesh war, when the 7th Fleet was sent by Nixon, and Henry Kissinger was the man guiding the national security policy of the United States of America, Russians sent the nuclear submarine. The 71 war almost became a big flashpoint, global flashpoint. But the Russians came to our aid. There was a treaty of peace and understanding, deep defense cooperation with Russia. Russia is also one country that not only sells weapons, but Russia is one country which has also given us technology and know-how. That is very important. It is with the Russian help that we have been able to make Sher, which is AK-203 version, which is made with 70% of the Indian steel. Secondly, Russia is the only country that has allowed us access to a nuclear submarine. Though they did not give the submarine with the active pods whereby we could have understood the submarine-based launch technology, but at least they allowed us to man a nuclear submarine, to learn the idea of manning a nuclear submarine, Chakra, and now this submarine. So the important lessons and the most important aspects of naval warfare, they came from the Russians. Even the best of our aircraft carrier today in service is the Russian one. We had purchased it from them, and though it took more than 15 years to be retrofitted, there were a lot of, I would say, delays, but at least it happened. The entire thing happened in Vladivostok. Lastly, Deepak, I would say that the reason why this meeting is important, because it's coming at the time when the Americans had put so much of tariff on us. They thought that they can break the back of the Indian economy by the tariffs. But then with the help of the Russian oil, we have been able to sustain the unpredictable foreign policy of Donald Trump. This MAGA shift that took place in America has tremendously impacted their foreign policy position, which is not now directly related to Trump, but I would say it directly reflects the Middle America's viewpoint. And the Middle America's viewpoint is having a great, deep impression on the American foreign policy. And what is that? It is commerce first, obviously, America first, but in that context, the Americans have gone away, walked away from the certain promises they have made. For example, America committed itself to the rule-based order, but America itself has withdrawn from that. Look what they have done in Venezuela. They have parked the biggest aircraft carrier there. Their attack on Iran was unilateral. There was no UN commitment to it. So American foreign policy unilateralism is hurting a lot of allies. So in that context, Russia becomes very important for us. It is a reminder that you really need 2 or 3 important people in your friendship matrix who would help you in and out. Because when it comes to defense and foreign policy, it can't be so, I would say, limited to transactionalism. American foreign policy is boiled down to pure transactionalism. You look at the tweets of J.D. Vance, you look at the tweets of Donald Trump, it's about you give us this and you get that. But with the Russians, we get a lot of leeway. Look at the inventory of our Air Force squadrons. Look at the inventory of our tanks, inventory of our weapons. They come from Russia. I'm not saying that the Russian and India relationship is as rich as America, because the American-Indian relationship is rich in context of human resource, business, university education. And you ask people where do they want to migrate, they would say, we want to go to the United States of America. So, in terms of a prosperous society, Indian Americans are very important there. You don't have big Indian Americans in big population of Indian America and United States of America. There are barely 1 million Indians there. There are in fact 3 million Chinese in Siberia. They are far more integrated with the Russian population. But then we share history with them. We share a lot of, even I would say, political issues with them, on which we are on the same page with them. So it is for this reason, this is an occasion on which our ties are being reaffirmed.